Have you ever entered a room and felt the air shift, not because someone spoke, but because they simply arrived? She didn't raise her voice or flash diamonds, yet heads turned, eyes drawn like moths to a quiet, flickering flame. What was it? Not youth, not noise, not trend. It was presence. And more often than not, that presence was wrapped in color. Not just any color, but one chosen with quiet intent, a hue that whispered exactly what she wanted to say without ever parting her lips. You see, color isn't just about fashion, it's energy, emotion, expression, and when used with wisdom, it's attraction in its most effortless form. Psychologists have known for decades our brains process color within milliseconds. Before a word, before a gesture, before a smile, we see the shade, and we judge it, we feel it, we react. A woman in red doesn't beg to be seen, she already is. A woman in blue radiates trust long before she speaks. A woman in emerald carries nature's vitality, even in stillness. Color is power, and it belongs to every woman, especially those who've earned the right to speak softly and still be heard. This isn't about pleasing men, it's about owning the room without shouting. But science shows that some colors do spark attention more than others, especially in the eyes of men. Not because women wear them to be noticed, but because they carry a magnetic frequency, a pulse that draws the eye and awakens the heart. And for the woman who's lived, loved, lost, and risen again, who's not fading but blooming anew, that pulse belongs to her. So if you've ever felt like you're blending in, if your wardrobe whispers when you long to sing, stay with me. Because the next few minutes may change how you see your closet, how you see yourself, and how the world sees you. Not with louder makeup or tighter clothes, but with color. Strategic, subtle, powerful color. The kind that says, I'm here, before you even say your name. Let's begin. There's a reason why stop signs are red, why roses blush in crimson, why hearts drawn in childhood notebooks are never blue or green, but red. Because red commands attention. It doesn't ask, it declares. It's not the loudest color, but it's the most unforgettable. Science agrees. In study after study, men rate women in red as more attractive, more magnetic, more radiant. Not because red reveals skin, but because red reveals something deeper. A pulse, a fire, a life force too vivid to hide. They call it the red dress effect. At the University of Rochester, researchers found that men were significantly more drawn to women wearing red compared to any other color. Not just for beauty, but for allure, for confidence, for an energy that feels bold and unforgettable. But here's the truth. Red is not just for 20-somethings. It's not just for date nights or special occasions. Red is for the woman who knows her power, who's danced with heartbreak and come out blazing, who no longer waits to be chosen, but chooses herself. Still, red comes in many voices. You don't have to wear a scarlet gown to embrace its strength. There's the richness of wine and burgundy, deep, regal shades that whisper refinement. Perfect for blazers, handbags, or that one statement coat you wear when you mean business. There's cherry, ruby, and poppy, bright, bold reds that say, I'm here with a wink. And then there's coral, rose, brick, earthy, grounded tones that feel both gentle and strong, perfect for daytime elegance, soft lips, or a silk scarf tied just so. If red feels too daring, start small. A red manicure, a crimson belt, a subtle pair of heels peeking out from charcoal trousers. Because red isn't just a color, it's a reminder that life still pulses through you, that your story isn't fading, it's deepening. You don't need red to be seen, but when you wear it, you say something without speaking. I am still desirable, vibrant, unapologetically alive, and trust me, they notice. If red is the flame, royal blue is the sky it dances under, expansive, unshakable, calm, yet impossible to ignore. Royal blue is confidence without arrogance, power without noise. It's the color of deep oceans and velvet evenings, the hue of wisdom worn by queens, leaders, and women who no longer need permission to be powerful. Psychologists say blue is the most trusted color. It evokes stability, intelligence, authority, and strangely, peace. Men respond to it in ways they don't even understand. They feel drawn in, safe, but captivated. This is the color of your stillness that speaks volumes, the gaze that holds without grasping, and royal blue, not navy, not denim, but true royal, is where elegance meets electricity. It flatters all skin tones. It works in daylight and moonlight, in silk, in wool, in structured jackets and flowing dresses. Imagine a royal blue blouse against your silver strands, or a floor-length gown that trails behind you like a comet's whisper. Even a scarf wrapped loosely at the base of your throat can say, I am both grace and grit. If you've ever felt overlooked, try blue. Not because you need attention, but because you deserve to feel seen. Pair it with white for clarity, gray for wisdom, gold for regality. And if you're feeling daring, match it with red. A fire and sky combination that tells a whole story before you speak a single word. Blue is not just a color. It's a posture, a presence. It says, I've lived, I've learned, and I no longer doubt my own light. You don't have to shout to be seen. You don't have to perform to impress. Just wear blue and let the room adjust to your calm confidence. Because a woman in royal blue doesn't enter the spotlight. She becomes it. There is a color that speaks of life before it says a single word, a color that whispers, I've grown through storms and still I bloom. That color is emerald green, not lime, not mint, but deep, jewel-toned emerald, the shade of wild forests and quiet strength, the color of healing, of growth, of grounded grace. Psychologists say green evokes balance, calm, and trust. It's why people feel safe in nature, why hospitals use green walls, why fresh leaves feel like hope. But emerald, oh emerald, it takes that peace and wraps it in elegance. It has been the color of queen's jewels, of sacred tapestries, of ancient symbolism tied to prosperity, luck, and timeless femininity. And for older women, this color isn't a costume, it's a mirror, because you too have become richer with time, stronger in silence, more alive with each breath of grace you've earned. When you wear emerald, men notice, not because it screams, but because it glows. It draws them in like sunlight through trees, like the quiet certainty of a woman who doesn't just survive, she thrives. Try a flowing emerald dress for a dinner that matters, or a crisp emerald blouse tucked into soft cream slacks. Let a green scarf graze your collarbone. Let gemstone earrings catch the light as you turn your head with purpose. Emerald green flatters every skin tone. It brings warmth to deep complexions. It brings depth to lighter ones. Pair it with gold for richness. Pair it with navy for balance. Pair it with white for lightness. And don't wait for a special occasion. You are the occasion. Wear emerald on a Monday if your heart needs lifting. Wear it on a Friday if you want to shine without saying why. Because a woman in emerald says, I am here, I am whole, and I don't need permission to be radiant. She doesn't wear green to impress. She wears it to remember she's already grown into something rare. Some colors don't just dress the body, they drape the soul. Deep purple is one of them. It's not the purple of playful violets or springtime lilacs. It's the shade of twilight when the sky holds its breath, the color of velvet shadows and ancient secrets still whispered by candlelight. Historically, this color belonged to royalty, because centuries ago, Only the wealthiest could afford it. Its dye was rare, sourced from thousands of sea snails, a color earned, not given. And perhaps that's why it still feels so regal, so rare. Deep purple is quiet power, not loud, not flashy, just certain. When you wear it, you don't shout to be seen. You invite others to wonder who you are. Psychology calls it the color of imagination, of wisdom, of dignity. It evokes mystery, not confusion, but complexity. And that's what makes it magnetic. Because a woman in her 60s has layers, has lived, has stories in her smile and knowledge in her gaze. Deep purple honors that it doesn't demand youth, it honors depth. When men see a woman in rich plum, aubergine, or eggplant hues, they notice, not because it flatters skin, though it does, not because it stands out, though it surely can, but because it creates an atmosphere around her. She looks wise, grounded, elegant, and utterly unforgettable. So how do you wear it? Try a deep purple dress with a soft drape, fluid, like moonlight on velvet. Add amethyst earrings, a plum silk scarf, a touch of wine-colored lipstick that speaks without saying a word, or wear it subtly. A purple handbag against a charcoal outfit, an eggplant-toned shawl over your shoulders on a cool evening. Pair it with silver for mystery. Pair it with blush for softness. Pair it with navy for calm authority. Deep purple is not trendy. It is timeless. It doesn't follow seasons. It follows you. It carries a kind of wisdom you don't need to explain. It says, I've seen things. There's a softness that doesn't fade with age, a tenderness that grows stronger when it no longer needs to prove itself. Blush pink is the embodiment of that quiet strength. It's not the pink of candy or glitter, not the pink of little girls and lace. No, this pink is deeper, warmer, richer. It's the pink of a rose that has bloomed fully and still holds its fragrance. The pink of flushed cheeks after laughter, of silk under fingertips, of a sunset just before it melts into dusk. Blush pink whispers, but never begs. It says, I am soft and still strong. This color is often underestimated. It doesn't shout for attention, but it doesn't fade into the background either. It lingers, it invites, it embraces, and psychologically, it evokes trust, compassion, gentleness, all the things that draw people in, including men, whether they realize it or not. Men often describe it as calming, soothing, even romantic. Because blush pink is approachable, it feels warm before you've even spoken. It says, you can be yourself here. And when a woman over 60 wears it, there's a beauty in that contrast of life lived, edges weathered, and yet a softness that remains. It's captivating. How can you wear it? Try a blush pink blouse with tailored white trousers. Light, elegant, perfect for brunches or meetings where you want to look polished but not rigid. Or a soft pink cashmere sweater with a gray midi skirt. Add pearls, a rose gold watch, a satin scarf tied at the neck. In summer, a flowing blush pink dress paired with nude sandals can make you look like poetry in motion. In winter, a dusty rose wool coat is both rare and ravishing. The key is texture. Let the softness of the color reflect in the fabric. Think silk, satin, cashmere, fine knits. And for accessories, rose quartz earrings, a pale pink handbag, a rosy lip tint to tie it all together. Blush pink pairs beautifully with gray, cream, navy, and even olive. It balances warmth and refinement. It tells the world you are open but not naive, graceful but not meek. Some colors don't ask for attention. They shine naturally, like sunlight through an open window on the morning of a good day. Warm yellow is that color, not neon, not blinding, but golden, soft, like honey on toast or daffodils blooming beside a garden wall. Yellow carries joy like it was born for it. It lifts the face, brightens the eyes, and warms the soul of everyone who sees it. Psychologists say yellow is the color of optimism, creativity, energy, and warmth. It triggers feelings of happiness, genuine, effortless happiness. And in a room full of black and gray, a woman in warm yellow is the sunrise. She walks in, and suddenly the room breathes. Men notice her, not because she's loud, but because she radiates something that can't be bought: light. She seems vibrant, approachable, alive. And that's the kind of beauty no cream can offer. Think of mustard tones for depth and elegance. Think of soft butter yellow for daytime sweetness. Think of rich gold for evening strength. Try a yellow silk blouse beneath a neutral blazer, or a saffron dress that floats with your movement. Add a golden handbag, a warm yellow scarf, or even citrine earrings that catch the light. Yellow pairs beautifully with navy, with white, with deep green, and with charcoal gray. It can be as bold or as subtle as you need it to be. And the best part? It flatters women over 60 in the most magical way, bringing color back to the cheeks, softness to the gaze, and energy without effort. You don't have to wear it head to toe. Sometimes just a touch is all it takes to say, I am light, I am joy, and I am still blooming. So next time your mood needs lifting, don't just reach for coffee, reach for yellow, because sometimes the color you wear can change not just how you look, but how you feel and how the world responds to your glow. Not every woman needs to wear red to be seen. Some carry power in the quiet hues, colors that don't scream but whisper with strength. And charcoal gray is one of those whispers that turns heads. It's the color of wisdom, of depth, of grace that doesn't fade but deepens with time. Unlike black, which can feel harsh, or navy, which leans toward tradition, charcoal gray sits in the center, modern, mature, refined. It says, I know who I am. And it means it. Men notice a woman in gray, not because she's flashy, but because she holds herself like a story they want to read. Gray is the color of thoughtful pauses, well-chosen words, and quiet authority. It's the shade of confidence that's lived a full life and learned it doesn't need to shout to be powerful. A tailored charcoal blazer over a soft blouse, timeless. A sleek gray dress that hugs in all the right places, stunning. A cashmere wrap draped softly around the shoulders, pure elegance. Charcoal pairs beautifully with blush pink, with ivory, with emerald green, and even deep purple for a richer, regal feel. And gray is forgiving. It flatters the skin, adds depth to the eyes, and lets your smile, your true accessory, shine even brighter. There's something magnetic about a woman in gray. She walks into the room, not to be seen, but to be felt. She doesn't compete. She commands. She doesn't try to be younger. She embodies everything she is right now. Wearing charcoal gray isn't about fading. It's about becoming more focused, more centered, more assured. If red is fire, gray is stone, steady, enduring, and beautifully grounded. So when you want to show the world your quiet strength, your graceful wisdom, and your timeless elegance, reach for charcoal gray, because true presence doesn't need color to shout. It only needs truth to be seen. White is not plain. White is not boring. White is not empty. White is everything. It's light. It's space. It's the pause between two heartbeats. It's a breath before the words begin. White is confidence in its purest form. It doesn't beg for attention. It doesn't rely on drama. It simply is. And that is its power. When a woman over 60 wears white, she becomes the center of her own elegance. It reflects light onto her face, softens lines, illuminates her skin from within. White doesn't cover, it enhances. A crisp white blouse under a blazer. Clean, classic, sharp as a good idea. A flowy white dress in summer light. Breezy, graceful, like poetry in motion. A structured white suit. And suddenly, you are the boardroom, the ballroom, and everything in between. White pairs with everything, but competes with nothing. It holds space for your personality, your presence, your poise. Men notice a woman in white, not because it shouts, but because it glows. White says, I have nothing to hide. I am here just as I am, and that is enough. In psychology, white evokes trust, cleanliness, peace. It calms the eye and draws it in. It suggests that the woman who wears it is centered, balanced, and radiant without even trying. Pearls on bare skin, ivory linen trousers, a white cotton shirt, sleeves rolled just so. It's not fashion, it's presence, it's ease, it's grace. And for every skin tone, white finds a way to flatter. Warm whites for golden undertones, cool whites for pinkish skin, cream, ivory, porcelain, each shade whispering its own version of beauty. White is timeless because truth is timeless. And a woman who is comfortable in her skin will always shine brightest when wrapped in simplicity. Wear white on the days you feel whole. Wear white on the days you don't. And let it remind you that clarity always returns. Let white be the mirror for your glow. You've heard it now, not just about red or blue or green, but about something deeper than shades on fabric. You've heard the truth about presence, about elegance, about how color doesn't just decorate the body, it awakens the spirit. Because this is not a lesson in fashion, it's a reminder of who you are, of who you've always been. A woman who's lived decades with depth, with beauty, with story. A woman who no longer needs permission to shine. And now, you don't just wear color. You choose it with clarity, with intention, with pride. You wear red because you are bold. You wear blue because you are wise. You wear emerald because your energy is alive. You wear purple because your mystery is earned. You wear pink because softness is not weakness. You wear yellow because joy belongs to you. You wear gray because silence can be strong. You wear white because truth needs no embellishment. Color is not about age, it never has been. It's about vibration. It's about soul. It's about standing in front of the mirror and saying, hey, I choose how I show up today, and I choose beauty. The kind of beauty that doesn't follow trends, that doesn't ask, is this okay for my age? No. This kind of beauty says, this is who I am, and I wear what honors that. So if you've been hiding behind beige and fading into the background, I hope this message calls you forward, not for them, not for attention, not to be noticed, but to feel your own light again. Because when you dress with intention, you don't just change your outfit, you shift your mood, you transform your energy, you open your heart to the world again. And guess what? That energy, it's magnetic, it's radiant, it's unforgettable. So now, the next time you reach into your closet, pause. Ask yourself, what color does my soul crave today? And let that be your answer. No rules, no fear, just truth wrapped in fabric. And if this video made you feel seen, if it sparked something inside you, leave a comment below. Tell me, what color are you reclaiming? What truth are you ready to wear? And if you want more reminders of just how powerful aging can be, tap that like, subscribe, and stay close. Because here, we don't fade with time. We bloom. One color, one choice, one radiant moment at a time.